Hey everyone, it's another Witch Life, and in today's Witch Life, we're addressing something that is extremely important to all types of witchcraft, and that is gathering energy in order to manifest your spells. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can manifest energy. So the very first one is through meditation. Now, I can't meditate for the life of me. I have ADHD and I can't sit still for 5 minutes. I hate it, but it is an effective way for you to raise energy, especially if you're starting out and you're trying to figure out the best ways to do it. Now, before we get started on anything, I want to talk about the Reiki colors. And it's important because it involves ways that you actually bring up the power. Now, this is also going to be part of a master class. Any master classes, those are the ones that are going to have private videos. You're going to have to purchase those. Simply because in the master class, when you're talking about raising energy, that's where you're dealing with darker magic, necromantic magic, and that's where you have to gather the most power. And because I don't really want to share that with people that are not going to take the lessons seriously, that are just going to like half-ass shit and do that. I will charge for those classes because I want to make sure if you're going to pay for it, you're paying attention. But in the regular Witch Life series, the free classes will teach you everything that you need to know about a witch, because I feel it's important for you to have that resource. So now, let's talk about the Reiki colors. In fact, I'm going to come over here. So let's start with what each one means, and then we'll talk about how you're going to raise the power using this, okay? So now this is actually located at your spine. That's supposed to be indicative of the spine. And I will put a link in the description box so you can read all about these, read more in depth about it. So your red color is your spine, the base of your spine, okay? This is the sacral. It's right here. This is where, basically, it would mean where life would start. Up here is your solar plexus, okay? This is commonly called the heart chakra. And of course, as we know, the heart is over here. But as we're going in a straight line, it would be on the level of the heart, but it would be in the middle, okay? So that's your heart chakra. This is for your throat. This one, wait, is this right? Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is right, okay. So this one is for your third eye, okay? This is normally called the indigo. When I communicate with my spirits, I go indigo, and I will go into how I do that in the master class. And then this one, this is normally a non-existent color or a white color. I prefer to use it as a white color because, again, you're trying to imagine energy. So this is actually the white color, and this is called the crown, okay? So how would you use this to raise the energy that you need to manifest your powers? Okay, so now one of the things, you can get energy from the ground. You can get energy from the air. You can get energy from any living thing, provided you know how to drain it out. So now, most witches that just have like a rudimentary sense on how to control the energy, they get their energy from the earth. So how would you do that? Well, some books will tell you to imagine roots coming out of your feet going down to the earth's core. What you can do with this, you start at the base of your spine. You start with the red color. You imagine that your spine, that there's a rod from your spine into the earth. And as you drag up the energy, you imagine it coming up. Right now the energy is red. It comes up, it starts turning orange, it starts turning yellow, up here it's green. By the time it reaches your throat, it's blue. When it gets to your third eye, you have gone indigo. That's not how I do it, but you've gone indigo. By the time it reaches here, you are now surrounded. It comes up out of your head and comes down around you in a circle of white light. So once you have all of that, once you are encircled in the white light, it comes down and it wraps around you. That is when you can use that white light to cast your circle of protection around your altar. That is when you can start manifesting your spells. Now, there are other ways to do that if you cannot concentrate long enough to meditate and go through all that. You can take an energized crystal. You would have to do the 24-hour charging that I talked about in my last one. Now, if you only use a crystal to gather your energy, it's going to only give you a small amount of energy. You are not going to have a very powerful spell, but it will get the job done if it's a very, very simple little spell. Okay? If you are trying to make huge changes in your life, you can't use this. It's not going to work. You're going to have to do a full-on power drag. Okay? Another one is through the wand. Now, this would require, now you've cleansed it and you've charged it. So how do you supercharge this? Again, it depends on what type of spell you're doing. If you haven't seen the charging video yet, go watch the charging video, okay? You're going to supercharge this. Now, how can you supercharge this? Well, you can put it among a group of crystals, okay? A group of charged up crystals and let it absorb all the energy for 3 days. Why is 3 important in Wicca? Well, think about it. There's the three women, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. There's you could call it the 3 phases of the moon because the new moon is a void. You have the crescent moon of waxing, the full moon, and the crescent moon of waning. 3 is a very powerful symbol in Wicca. And there's also the rule of 3. So 3 is a huge thing in Wicca. So anything that you are doing, kind of plan on it, doing it in triplicate. Okay? So you could charge this up with a group of crystals for 3 days. And then go ahead and you would charge this the same way that you would charge the crystals, the full charging in the sun and moon. But it would be among a group of crystals to supercharge this, and then you could use this. You can only use this for spell work. You cannot use this in necromantic magic. Now, if you are more advanced and energy to you is a palpable thing, this is for people that do have experience with Wicca and have been able to master dragging energy up and controlling it. This is for people who have already done that, already mastered that, and are looking for a faster and simpler way. So the very easiest way to do that, you can use your power tool. So if your power tool is a wand instead of an antheme, you use the wand. Okay. So you use your power tool, and of course, as you know, mine's the antheme. And what you do is you imagine dragging the energy up and dragging the energy down. And you've actually seen me do this in some of my videos. I imagine the energy coming up to my navel, because the navel is supposed to be where life starts and is contained, okay? So your life force is supposedly in your navel. So you draw it up until you feel the energy reach your navel. You draw it down from the atmosphere until it reaches your navel, and then you're complete and you're ready to go. This, basically think of this as a lightning rod. So you're pointing it down and you're commanding the energy to drag up through your body. You're using this, you're commanding the energy to come down through here, through your arms, until it reaches the navel. Okay? Now, as you're imagining how to, as you're imagining the power coming up through your body, one of the best ways to start out is doing it like this. And as it comes up through each of these forms, imagine it filling that whole part of you. Because once you have all your energy, you've got your white light, you've cast your circle, what you're going to do is you're going to expel that energy into your spell. And how you do that is that once you have burned all your herbs, you've chanted all your chants, you have made your intentions clear, what you do is you take your power tool, again like a lightning rod, you point it into your bowl, your cauldron, whatever it is, and you imagine that energy pushing down through your hands, through your lightning rod, and into the spell. That is how it's energized. Now, if you do that before you burn the herbs, then what you do is when you start burning those herbs or whatever it is, you're releasing that energy into the air to manifest the spell. And I know that this might seem very confusing, but when I actually do a spell, you will understand how all of it comes in together. When I do like a spell that I burn herbs or liquid or something like that, you will understand how all that goes together. So if you're doing a multi-part spell where you have herbs that you are going to scatter or burn, and you also have a drink. So say you're doing like a banishment spell. Okay, you're doing a banishment spell, and you have, you've got to burn something with like their name on it or what have you. Then you have herbs that you have to scatter across their doorway or across your doorway or wherever it's going to go. Then you have a drink. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to partition off the energy. You are going to put the most energy where it is most needed. So to keep them away would be the most needed. So to keep them away would probably be the herbs that you're going to scatter around them. So what you're going to do is you're going to pour energy into that first. You're going to take your the other two things, and you're going to do the residual energy. So how would you split that? Okay. So imagine yourself divided into three. You're going to take your core energy up through you and down into the herbs. Because you're going to arrange it in that order. You're going to arrange where your core energy needs to go, and your auxiliary energy needs to go. Then you imagine this coming up through this side, going into that. This into this side, going into that. So while you drink the drink, you are getting the energy that has gone in there as a protection for you. So that energy will resonate around you, giving you that shield of protection. Then the energy that you put in that will act as a banishment and will act as like a wall of energy to keep you apart. And then that will work. The energy that goes into that will work as a ward. Again, another wall in front of them this time to keep them away. I hope that's not too confusing. Like I said, once I do a spell and you see how I would take that energy to manifest it, that is when you'll understand better what I'm talking about. Now, so after you have done all of your spell work, there is residual energy. There's residual energy in all of the tools that you have used. What do you do with that energy? Okay, so again, this goes back, and if you've watched the Astara celebration, and you watched as I cleansed off the tools, I think that was in there. I think I did like the whole thing. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to first pass it through the smoke to clear off anything that might be negative. Then you are going to take the energy, wipe it out, and set it free into the universe. Okay? Now you have set free, cleansed off positive energy so that other people can gather that energy and use it. Okay? Because like I said, witches are usually, we were like the ones that were recycling long ago. Witches find purpose for like almost everything. And that's why some of them are hoarders. Like, you walk into like a old witch's cottage and you find broken chairs and this and that, and you know, we'll find a use for that wood. We'll find a use for the thread in that thread in the seat cushions. We'll find uses for all this stuff, and sometimes it's very hard for us to let go, but that is part of Wicca. There's use in almost everything in Wicca, and that's why it's so hard for us to let stuff go, and why this place is little junky. So that would be how you could gain power. Now, one of the things that I have decided to try is a singing bowl. Now, I ordered them. I don't have them in yet. The first one won't even be delivered until, I think, Monday. I will do classes on that, my experimentation, to see how that's going to work on raising energy and how to do it, because I actually ordered, I think I've ordered like 2 or 3 different bowls, and they're all different because I wanted to see like which one I liked, which one I thought would be really cool. Now, these are not big bowls. We're not talking about like huge singing bowls. We're talking about very small ones, and I was kind of disappointed that they were that small. But when I thought it over a little bit, I wasn't going to buy them, but when I thought it over a little bit, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Most of the people that are watching me have probably never used a singing bowl. They've maybe never even heard of a singing, well, they've heard of it, but maybe never heard what one sounds like. You know, who's going to want to like juggle a big ass bowl and then try to, you know, do this around? So to master it, to get the hang of it and to get your feet wet, having a small bowl actually makes better sense. And if you're like me, who has neck problems, shoulder problems, arm problems, hand problems, wrestling a big bowl is just going to be ridiculous. So once I had that thought process going, I'm like, okay, yeah, let me buy these, let me get them in here, let me see what they're like, and let's see if that helps me raise my game on how to generate more energy without exhausting myself. Because the problem is, at least for myself personally, when I do my necromantic magic, yes, I drag energy from the earth and from the air, but then I also end up pouring some of my energy and my will into the spells to energize my spirits, and it really kind of leaves me just exhausted. And also speaking to spirits, and I've said this to a few people, and I believe I've covered this in my videos, speaking to spirits is very draining, and that's why you see on like these paranormal shows, batteries drain down, the air gets colder. I mean, because they are using this energy to manifest things, to make things happen, to communicate. And one of the easiest things to do, if you open yourself up to a spirit and say, yeah, go ahead, you know, use me to speak, use my energy to speak, you get very, very, very drained, and very quickly. I can only do 2 spirit videos a day, and then the next day I'm in bed for 12 to 16 hours sleeping, because it is that exhausting, and they use up that much of my life energy. So I think, you know, especially when I do the communication videos, I'm going to try to do the singing bowl first, and that my little melodic ramblings will not be in the very beginning of those videos I will start recording after I put the bowl down, but to try to get up energy, because just the motion of circling the bowl generates energy. I mean, think about windmill turbines. It's generating energy. So that's why I was on that mind thing, that this and the vibration would help. Also, another thing to keep in mind, that there's actually two tones that a bowl can make, a very high-pitched one and a very low-pitched one. The high-pitched one comes from when the raw wood rubs around the rim of the bowl. And the other one is when the muted side, that's normally wrapped in like leather or suede or even felt, rubs against the side of the bowl. Now, the high-pitched one is called the female, and the low-pitched one is called the male. And I addressed this in the products video, that any earthborn spirit functions on a low frequency, and any spirit that has never walked this earth is on a high frequency. So if I'm communicating with the earthborn spirits, I'm thinking that I might get a lot more results if I use the lower frequency, the deeper frequency, to kind of like tune it up, and you know, resonate that energy for them to feed off of, and then come in maybe a little more clearer for me to hear them, instead of, you know, getting half of this and half of that. So that's an experiment that I will be trying, and I will actually demonstrate that in another video, and we'll see if it actually works better. And if that's something you're interested in, the other bowls, whichever bowls I didn't really like or whatever, they'll be in the they will be for sale in my store. If that's something that you're interested in trying out for yourself with spirit communication or something, if it works well for me, hey, you know, and you're interested in it, I will be more than happy to put that up in my store. Now, also, I want to let you know that the first two of the tarot card tutorials are up. I'm going to be working on more of them through the week. The whole course is going to end up costing $75 for all of it. The reason why I'm putting them into different parts is in case you don't want, the final two courses are going to be readings. They're going to be how to interpret the cards when you're doing an actual reading. The first one is going to be a 3-card spread. The second one is going to be the full card spread. So if you decide that you don't want to watch those, you just want to learn about what the cards and how they mean, then that course is available. That's why they're in individual blocks. If you have already, again, this goes back to, you know, the donation thing. If you've actually already have a credit with me and you want to use some of that credit for the courses, email me first, okay? salemwillow@yahoo.com. Email me first, and if you have the credit for like the whole course, I will just give you all the links to the whole course. They are yours in perpetuity. You can go back and view it as many times as you want or need. The videos are currently marked. That's why you can't see it on my site. They're currently marked private, and only if you purchase the course will I email you the link for you to view the videos. And as long as you have that link, you will be able to view the videos. So if you do have credit with me, email me before you go and purchase that button. And it is only going to be on the Witchery site. So again, go to the catalog and go right to that. So I think that is it for this video on gathering energy. If you have any further questions or you need more advice on how to do this, you know how to get a hold of me. You can either say something at the bottom of this video, you can email me through the Witchery or salemwillow at yahoo.com, or you can go to my Facebook page, which is, if you haven't joined up, it's fb.me/thesalemwillow. And of course, there's always Instagram as well, thesalemwillow. So I will see you in the next Witch Life video, and thank you guys so much for watching and for being a part of this whole witch experience. Take care, guys. See you next week.